Hi, welcome. In this video, I'm out here once again with Hildegard, and again continuing to create a relationship change. Here in this video, I'm going to be once again doing the one-step method by way of adding the down onto the script. And again, talk about having the right conversation with the dog by way of the core ingredients, influence and control. This is how that conversation happens, and even in terms of of commands. So again, talk about how to establish commands the right way by way of being perceived the right way. So again, getting to a level where once you say a command, the dog is responding, but based again on seeing you, perceiving you by way again of your role in terms of meeting a dog's social needs. Dogs as pack animals, hierarchy. So again, this is where I am again talking about intent. When I talk about a dog understanding the language of the method, okay, it's by way of how asserting influence, okay, directionally, in terms of again just the level of it, not to trigger off challenge. Okay, so again, this is where again, even when you're working with a dog that has gained a higher level of control in the relationship, this is where again, when I'm working say with a board and trained dog, I will not do certain things right away, such as the push and pull, okay, such as the down. Those will start to happen, but as the dog starts to the perception of the dog start to change, the dog becomes more agreeable just to kind of routine of the basic method. Then you start to bring those things online. So here in this video, I'm actually going to be bringing Hildegard, by way of the down, by way of adding that add-on into the script. Now here again, talk about tools. Again, you notice here when I'm interacting with dogs, they will have, and again, sometimes I'll be using the pressure collar. It's called a choke chain. But understand, it's not about choking dogs, okay? It's not about corrections even that way, by way of delaying, okay? So again, when you see trainers or see individuals that are, jerking on dogs in certain moments, understand that's because of being delayed by way of the dog's state of mind. Here, it's understanding the dog's level of thinking, where a look just isn't a look, okay? So therefore, you want to be proactive. Okay, and what that looks like is just as, say, Hildegard starts to look towards another dog, knowing that she doesn't have a healthy way of thinking, you want to nudge right away. Just a form of a nudge. You want to be ahead of the curve of her mind right here. Kind of a perfect picture of Hildegard head slightly turned in towards me, which represents kind of seeing me the right way, fading in. She doesn't have to be looking up in my eyes, but what you'll see how this frames up as you're interacting with dogs by way of the core ingredients I talk about: control by way of the leash, influence by way of certain moments where you're intercepting dog's state of mind. You'll see that inwardness start to happen. That's your kind of tangible information, okay, that you're fading in, okay, with those core ingredients, okay, online. Now, at the same time, you see certain situations where, again, she's being very patient here. You notice how she's just sitting, hanging out, because that's what it's about. And I have the baseline going right now where I have a level of control on her, just to a level which gives her comfort. Okay, understand that this is all about just, I call it kind of like almost like a parental baseline, okay? How, say, a parent is interacting with a child, especially, and here's the point of everything, once a relationship problem is underway. Understand that changes everything. So you always have to keep that in mind when I talk about the role of influence and control. Okay, I understand that what defines a process and what establishes those levels, okay, corresponds to the current state of the relationship. Okay, I understand that those things correspond to where you're at. But again, to even see where you're at in the relationship, those things have to be part of a process. Otherwise, you're working off of assumptions, and oftentimes totally flawed assumptions, and that's why people get blindsided. So here, you see it in other videos as I bring control over Hildegard, especially the food videos, you watch that, she gets really desperate. You see that whining coming out, those stress loads coming out, because that's the reveal. Okay, so but also change itself too by way again of how you're interacting with the dog. Now here, again, I'm going to be moving with her. I'm going to just be slowing it down, so the one step is very helpful. You don't want to go too fast at first. You want to be very intentional, because again, it's all about conversation. And so it's about her coming into agreement with, okay, these interactions. And so again, understand it's intent too. So as I'm pushing certain ways, as I'm bringing her under a certain level of influence, okay, I'm in her head at a level in which represents, I talk about, the tug of war team that begins to collapse. That's the best example to really think about, is the point of agreeableness, but not over the top. So understand this is about, but also at the same time, not going to using, treats and things to motivate, because that's problematic based again on the fact you're dealing with a relationship problem. So the motivator is the relationship. Okay, that's a hard thing for a lot of people to understand based again on what they've already accepted, okay, as a process. So here, again, I'm going to start to move with her. Now, I mentioned before about the collars, and notice I also have a flat collar on her, okay, at the same time, down here, which I'll use at certain times, especially if I'm doing a certain method such as the push-pull method, okay, to keep influence more leveled out. Okay, so because here with the choke chain, okay, it can be a little bit more, challenging, especially, and here's my little kind of little thing I'll put out here for anyone who's looking to invest in the system. If you really want to start out in the system, do not start using that choke chain right away, okay? Work off of the flat collar, because it's going to help you understand the dynamic between dog and owner, or dog and trainer, as to the role of influence, okay? Because if you start using that choke chain right away, it's not gonna align properly, okay? So the better way in terms of really learning this system is use the flat collar like 90% of the time. Here in a board and train, you'll see me using the the pressure collar a little bit more times, because I have the ability to be able, that kind of helps me kind of speed things up, because of the way I use it, how I'm able to use it, and just these little kind of subtle things I'm doing, how I'm able to surgically kind of use it. It can be very helpful at a trainer level, okay? But at a basic novice level, you want to go to just the flat collar, okay? Because here's the thing, people watch my videos, they'll look at the choke chain happening, and they'll just assume there's too much influence happening. I'm choking the dog, because people's idea of things is based on a different idea by way of, say, balance training, or how certain tools are used. Here in the system of training, it's different that way, okay? It's proactive, you're dialed in differently. So therefore, you'll see here, for example, I just have enough influence to keep it positionally up on the top of her neck area, and just enough influence to give me that baseline. But again, I'm dialed into the level that's needed. That's why you don't want to use, remote collars as your main tool, because you can't make those adjustments. The baseline isn't going to be there, okay? And you're working off of this thing of being delayed, and it's going to be a problem. Okay, that's why you can't get tools off certain dogs, such as remote collars, through balance training. All sorts of problems are generated. So you want to keep it down to this level. And then when you use a remote collar, again, you would have seen me using it by way of the crate for Hildegard, just on vibration, because everything else makes sense at such a level, because I'm in her head, at a different level. Therefore, when you use a tool, okay, proactively, the right way, and it aligns with this method, it makes sense. Okay, dog's going to be more agreeable to it. It's going to line up. So again, start to